Okay.
Start it up.
Do the thing.
Okay. Do we need a countdown or?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Start.
I know what you
thinking
thinking
about.
about. You
Think
think
about
about
what's
watching
on
Online
City
City tonight. We have
Abdul, we have
me. I got my Mo.
Aeon, and we have with
A
us.
special guest.
Tyrone James of Capital City Media LLC. Good to be here.
What's up? What's up?
Before we start, I just want to give a quick shout out to Bourbon Street Bistro and The Pitch for sponsoring us, as well as Don Wilson, Rhonda Suter, and Melissa Lilly for helping us and sponsoring us as well.
Thank you.
Shout out to those.
Shout
it's
out.
been an honor.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right, so
So, anyways, how's y'all's days been?
pretty good.
Pretty good, pretty good.
Been pretty good for me as well. Second podcast today, so
What you guys?
Second.
been doing a lot of yapping.
Yep.
You wanna introduce yourself to the people?
Okay, so
We can do it again. There's nothing wrong with
yeah,
that.
Tyrone James of Capital City Media LLC. We specialize in cinematography, videography, more specifically documentaries, commercials, and weddings.
He's an expert.
Like, what type of
Good stuff.
documentaries have you made? Like, can you give us like an example?
So we've worked with Exceptional Possibilities of West Virginia. They specialize in helping children who are non-communicative. They use like augmentative alternative communication or AAC devices to communicate, and so they hold a camp every year for those children, and I've attended the last couple years to capture some of their stuff. First year was a 10-minute documentary. Second year was more of an episodic series release. And this year is just going to be a little bit more of a highlight, and we'll be focusing on putting together an overall brand video for their fashion show that'll be coming up in a couple weeks. So,
Okay.
It's interesting.
What got you into cinematography?
so it started as it started with me just watching behind the scenes DVDs, seeing how
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
was made, the making of this movie or the making of that movie. When I first saw that cameras were obtainable, about 10 to 11 years ago, I first picked one up just to kind of help some of my friends out with, music stuff. They needed videos for their music, and it's like, hey, I could figure it out at some point. And so that sort of spiraled into where we are today, where, we've had a company for about the last 4 years, and it's been somewhat profitable.
So it's like a childhood thing, childhood interest. That's
Yeah.
good.
Mm.
What would
So-
you say for other people that want to get into your type of stuff?
I would say just start. Just pick up a camera, start creating. A lot of people think that there's a major barrier to entry. I would say the first time that you pick up a camera and press record, you are now a filmmaker at that point. So now it's just about whether you keep the journey going or whether you choose to, kind of let it go to the wayside. But I would say just fall in love with the journey of it. Don't focus so much on the destination.
Okay.
Okay.
So more like focusing on progress rather than looking
Yeah.
at the future.
Yeah, understand that you're always in class. Even if you're not in class, you're always learning. Every day, every job, every time you film something, it's a new experience, different situation. It's throwing you into different things. So it's going to keep you on your toes that way. So just enjoy the spontaneity of it. And I would say, yeah, that's about all I can say for that. Yeah.
All right.
I've heard of this like one documentary about. So one of my classmates, her family's like pretty notorious for some crimes, and the documentary is called Wonderful Whites of West Virginia. Have you heard of it?
I have heard of it. I'm not a fan of it. I believe it gives a false representation of what is overall here in West Virginia. I believe that, we should not allow what takes place in maybe the outskirts of our area to be to be what people see as our overall representation. So I was not a fan of that movie in the slightest. As a movie person, that says a lot too.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I can understand that. Anything
Okay,
guys
you
say?
can understand that. Okay. I can also understand that.
Thank
Now,
you.
don't get me wrong. From a cinematographer's perspective, that documentary was captured very, very well. The storytelling was done very, very well. anyone who watches that can learn a lot on how to make a documentary. So I wouldn't stir people away from it. Watch it, learn from it, and anyone who wants to be a filmmaker, that is a good documentary to watch. However, just from a personal perspective, I just wasn't a fan of the tone or the overall theme of the movie itself.
What do you say? Like, what do you see yourself in more in the future? Do you still see yourself doing this job?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I really don't see myself doing anything else. I talked about, on another podcast, the ability to take things that are sort of mundane and turn them into things that people can cherish for lifetimes, right? And I believe that journey will never stop per se. And so one of the things that I've always told people about with a camera is that holding a camera saved me from a lot of things, right? A lot of times coming from where we come from, there's a lot of, troubled inner city youth, children that don't have an outlet. There's children who, need certain things and, maybe just need someone that'll listen to them. And sometimes they can fall into other avenues of things that aren't necessarily healthy. So the camera allowed me and can possibly allow others to have a positive outlet than necessarily falling into that necessary life of crime or just, degenerate activity, things of that nature. It can keep people out of trouble.
Do you have like any advice to talk to future cinematographers, like what class they can take during schools?
Like during high school?
Yeah.
So I'll say this. Depending on your high school program, I know when I was at Capitol High, they had a film program, which I think they still have. And so I would do your best to just get into your school's film program and learn as much as possible. If you feel like there's a lot more you want to learn, there are online courses. You'll have to pay for them, of course, that will streamline, you being able to learn things and give you things in like, course by course basis. Some of them run from like $50 to like maybe $100 to $200. If you don't want to do any of that and you just want to learn as much as you can and before you spend any money and just to make sure you want to do this, a lot of us before these online courses came out, we all jokingly say we're from YouTube University because, around in the early 2000s, sort of 2010s, stuff like that, YouTube was a lot different than what it is now. It's a glorified ad platform now, but that's a whole nother story. But when YouTube first came around, there were a lot of people who were giving a lot of quote unquote game or, just lessons on how to become a filmmaker. What's the best settings for your camera, how to, color log footage, what the latitude of that log footage is, showing you the concept of a moving image and, what that moving image actually means. Breaking down the concept of how images are taken. So, and there's remnants of that still there, but it's kind of difficult now because there's so many people riding that content creation wave, and it's a lot of clickbait thumbnails and, overhyped titles and a lot of people putting out the same content to sort of please the algorithm because everybody wants to do what works instead of necessarily standing out. So it's kind of hard to find that streamlined knowledge on YouTube now. So that's why I always suggest courses like Tomorrow's Filmmakers is a good course you could take for like $50, and it shows you every aspect of filmmaking from music videos to weddings to short films to commercials to, how to film action. It's even got an acting course in it. Like it'll teach you how to act, it'll teach you how to storyboard, it'll teach you how to write, what comes in a script, sort of the dialogue that comes in a script. They've got courses out there called like Full-Time Filmmaker. They're a little bit more expensive, but they have sort of the same sort of, structural, coursework. But I would say, if anything, just take some online courses for, small amount of money, and that'll streamline a lot of it and, you can learn a lot from those.
I was gonna say that I have no experience with filmmaking whatsoever, but I've done video editing before, like
Mhm.
editing and stuff. What type of softwares do you use? Because I use like After Effects, and then there's like something else I use.
Well, let me stop you there because editing is part of filmmaking, so
Yeah.
you do have experience. Don't
editing
don't
part.
sell yourself short with that. You know what I mean? Like wear that. But that's just me going off on a tangent. But
Yeah,
editing, are you asking like what editing software I've used?
yeah.
I'm big on Final Cut Pro. That's my editor of choice. Just because I'm a Mac-based user, I use a lot of Mac products.
Okay.
A lot of my workflow is done in ProRes RAW, which works natively in Final Cut. Don't get me wrong, After Effects is good. It's part of Adobe's Creative Cloud. That comes with Premiere and Lightroom and all that stuff. The new kid on the block right now is DaVinci Resolve.
I've used that. Yeah.
Everyone seems to be switching over to that. It's not a bad program. It's good to learn color grading. It's a little bit behind a paywall in terms of what you can render to, but yeah, I would say it's the new kid on the block. It's making some waves, but Final Cut is my program.
Okay,
Alright.
one last question before I end things. What is your favorite topic to create films about, and have you seen any interesting topics these
So I don't
days?
think I have a necessarily favorite topic to make films about. I'm sort of into trying to find the story in the moment. Sometimes a story doesn't necessarily pop out to you until you start filming and you start seeing things. Sometimes you may go into a situation thinking a story is going to go this way, and then a story may evolve into something else. Like I've heard the best piece of advice is that I've gotten when it comes to documentaries is be prepared for your story to evolve. Who you think your main character is going into the beginning may not be your main character by the time the story comes out, because as you're filming and you're seeing things transpire, you might see, oh, this story might be a little bit more important to tell than this one. Doesn't mean you don't include that story, but your main character may shift. The main tone or tonality of your story may shift. So I don't have a favorite. I sort of just live in the moment and let it take form.
Have you seen any interesting topics?
Have I seen any interesting topics? Me personally, I'll tell you I do have a favorite. I'm sorry. I like investigative journalism. So I like people who research topics that maybe not necessarily everyone wants coming to light. Because it shows a level of bravery. It shows a level of, someone wanting to seek the truth and, that believe in our First Amendment and believe in, that believe in journalism wholeheartedly. So yeah, investigative journalism is kind of my favorite. Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, thank you for coming with us today.
Yeah.
We gotta wrap it up.
Awesome, man. Hope I didn't yap too much.
That's fine.
Not enough.
All right. See you guys. Online City out. I know what you're thinking about. You think about
No.
coming to the next episode of Online City. Bye. Bruh.
That outro.